Legacy being reintroduced in 2026 and its abundant success has definitely been an indicator on what we may get in the future when it does come to Ninjago sets. Now, I've made a video once before talking about what if Legacy continued, and I would recommend you look back at that actual video itself. I mean, I'm very monotone, but I do present an entirety of a Legacy line, and I do stand by that video. But for this video, I want to just talk generally about sets that are deserving of the Legacy treatment. Obviously, the Legacy sets that we've gotten this year have been these amazing, expensive, highly detailed sets. So in accordance with that idea, I do have some ideas on what we could get down the line. And of course, like always, what would you guys like to see in a potential new wave of Legacy sets? Is there any particular locations or vehicles you would want to see? I mean, they could be brand new incarnations or they could be remakes like we have seen so far. I would love to know your opinion, and this is just my personal take on what we would actually get. So here are 5 ideas for Legacy sets, and I would like to know what you guys think. But let me not waste any more of your time, and let's get into them. The first set that I would like to see get the Legacy treatment is actually going to be coming from Season 4, which is actually the Enter the Serpent set. This set is a fairly good one, and I distinctly remember really enjoying it when I first got it. But I do think it would be really cool to get a more updated and more larger scale one when it does come to the modern day standard. Having an Anachondri temple in the modern day would be absolutely fantastic, and with the larger budget we could go so far deeper into the idea itself. We could have more depictions of the Anachondri, more depictions of the Serpentine War, and a really cool array of minifigures that could go along with it. We could see a Legacy variant of Chen or Klaus, or more Anachondri warriors. The limits are truly not even there. There are so many things you could do that with that season, and I do think that set would be the perfect way to actually do it. I think a lot of people would really like to see a new idea on what a Legacy Enter the Serpent set could truly be, and like I said, the further implications that do go along with it, because I feel like I wouldn't even be able to scratch the surface. I feel like there's so much more you could get. We could get a brick-built Anachondri snake like we get to see with Klaus's pet. We could get to see more Legacy variants of Anachondri warriors, so Izor isn't the only one. There really are so many ideas that do come into it, and I do think regardless of what it would be, I do think some form of incarnation of more Season 4 sets would be the play, because I do think there's so much more you could do with it, and that is why it's going to be on this list, and that is why it's the number 1. The second set on my list is actually going to be the Misfortune's Keep. Now, I absolutely loved the Misfortune's Keep set when it first came out. I have it somewhere, but I've actually kind of misplaced it. But it was an absolutely beautiful set, and any owner would agree with me. But imagine what we could actually have if they did go one step further and they made it larger and they had modern day standards associated with it. We could see so many amazing things come from it, and I do think it would be the most beautiful sets we would ever actually see. Again, this would also be the perfect opportunity to give us more minifigures that people have wanted. They could maybe even finish the Legacy Stone Armor Ninja. We got Zane and that was virtually it. Or they could kickstart the Legacy Air Jitsu minifigures, which a lot of people have definitely wanted over the course of time. It would be the perfect opportunity to do so, and I think a lot of people would really appreciate a new take on Misfortune's Keep. I do think unfortunately this wouldn't happen because of all the implications behind Season 6, but definitely if they did want to go down that route, I would be all there for it, because there's just so much potential in a set like that, and I think a lot of people would agree. Of course, there are other Season 6 sets that I did consider putting on this list. The main one for me was definitely Tiger Widow Island, because a much larger scale version of that set would have been absolutely fantastic. But I do think if we had one option when it did come to Season 6, Misfortune's Keep is definitely going to be the play. There's just so much more that goes into it as well. I said about Legacy Skybound Ninja, but what about a Legacy Narukon? That would be such a cool minifigure to have, and I definitely do think there's a lot of potential there. But again, I think unfortunately this is just another one that just wouldn't happen, but it's still number 2 on my list. The third one on my list is going to be a Destiny's Bounty. Now, a lot of people may be thinking, of course, a bounty, or a lot of people may be disagreeing with me, but the specific bounty that I would like to see is a Legacy incarnation of the final flight of Destiny's Bounty, or the one that was introduced to us in Season 4, but we got the set for in Season 5. The reason why I'm citing this set is because it also falls into the category that the first ever bounty also fell into, which is the fact that it was a smaller scale, not as detailed bounty that definitely would have been in need of a higher budget, and Legacy is the perfect place to do so. There's a reason why the Legacy bounty is often regarded as one of the best ones, and I do think giving the Legacy treatment to that version of the bounty would be fantastic. It's coming from the most iconic seasons of the show, it's coming from a really popular design, and I think a lot of people would really appreciate it. And again, the minifigure potential. potential. Imagine if this is how we got an Anachondrite version of Garmadon, or an Anachondrite version of Skylar, or more possession minifigures. Like I said, the Legacy Deepstone Ninja would have been a perfect opportunity. I think this set is a massive idea, and I do hope that they one day do take advantage of it, because I for one would definitely be there for that version of the bounty. A lot of people would definitely say that it's a waste of a slot, and I do kind of agree with it, but I do think it just would be a good idea. I do think it's the only version of the bounty that we don't have a very established version of. Every single bounty, regardless of their quality, at least has been given the budget to do so, apart from that one. So please, LEGO, if you're going to do a bounty, definitely do that one. But that's the number 3 on my list. I am going to be giving number 4 to a Season 8 set, and a lot of people will definitely disagree because of how solid that wave actually is. It's one of my personal favourite waves, but I do think it's the perfect time to give a more expanded and more easy way to access a Season 8 set, and that location is going to be the Temple of Resurrection. I'm picturing what a Temple of Resurrection could have looked like if we just simply had more budget for it, and it looks absolutely stellar looking. I think this would also be a great opportunity for people to get their hands on Oni masks. I think this would be a great chance for people to get their hands on a new version of Harumi, and also just the more things that you could have got for it as well. We could get a 4-arms Garmadon with that brand new head print that we got from Old Town, because it's very clearly inspired by the Oni trilogy Garmadon, and just having him on that version of the minifigure would be really good. And again, just more Sons of Garmadon. We could have had more incarnations of the ninja. It would have been a perfect set opportunity, and definitely could have led to a lot of fantastic things. Not to mention that they could have taken direct inspiration from this set and given us a more specific Princess Harumi, and also Hutchins as well. Even take it one step further, give us the entirety of the royal family. This would be the perfect opportunity to do so, and I do hope they do actually expand into this, but I don't think they're going to do it. But honestly, there is always going to be a chance. But I do think the Temple of Resurrection would be a fantastic idea when it does come to Legacy, and I do think it would be one of those sets that sold out really quickly. But again, that is just my opinion, but it is also number 4. But that does lead us into the final one for today, and I'm honestly surprised that they haven't done this one. So for the 5th set, and I do think the one that most people would want, is going to be the Fire Temple. I think this set is one of those ones that is very much deserving of a new incarnation. I think a lot of people would love it, especially considering how iconic it purely is. The Fire Temple is a set that a lot of Ninjago fans wish they do have, and I personally don't even have one, even as someone who was around in 2011. It's honestly one of the biggest regrets I have to this very day. I would love to get a Fire Temple, and one day I will track it down, but a Legacy incarnation of this set would be absolutely fantastic looking. We could get so many cool minifigures alongside it, we could get so many more modernized versions of this temple, and I do think it would be really cool to actually see. I honestly think this is one of the biggest no-brainers in terms of Legacy, and I'm surprised that they haven't done it already. The only downside is the fact that, of course, the pilot Legacy remakes have definitely been fully done, and I don't think we could have gotten anything too original in terms of this set. I think the biggest thing we could have gotten is a Legacy version of Samukai, which would be absolutely fantastic, but again, I just kind of would doubt that they would actually do it. But hey, if they want to, the option is always there. But I do think the Fire Temple is by far the biggest thing that a lot of people do want in terms of Ninjago Legacy. I don't think there's a set that people would want over the Fire Temple, but again, that is purely my opinion, and I would like to know what you guys think. And in general, just what do you think of all of these sets? Because on an overall, I do think all of them have a very good chance of being a very successful Legacy set if they did do it. If they actually do it, who knows? But I definitely think it would be a really cool one to actually see down the line. More of this, and less of a third version of the X1 Ninja Charger. But hey, that's just my opinion. But thank you very much for watching this video, and I do hope you enjoyed. And if you did, please consider subscribing. I love discussing Ninjago with more people. And if you do want to support the channel any further, which you do not have to, you could become a channel member and join the legends on screen. Thank you to each and every single one of you. Your support means the world to me. But like I said, that is about it for today, and take care. Okay,